Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about 3 indie horror novels that you need in your life. I love indie horror. Every time I read a book by an author that's self-published or through a small publishing house, I always get excited because there is so much raw talent out there waiting to be discovered by the big boys. And I can't wait to share these books with you. These are 3 unique books, 3 unique voices, and I think they are authors you want to read. But as always, I want to remind you that I also have books for sale, and if you want to read any of the books you see on your screen, you can do so at the link in the description. And if that link doesn't work for some reason, I've heard people say that, just leave me a comment and I will get you there. Alright, let's get on with the video. So the first book I want to talk about today is called House of Rot by Danger Slater. This book took me by surprise because with a name like House of Rot, I was assuming it was just another extreme horror novel, violence for the sake of violence and that kind of thing, but I was completely wrong. This is just a fantastic book. We have a couple. They're in their 30s, they are newlyweds, they move into their first real apartment together. And on that very first night, they are awakened by the sounds of thudding footsteps through their apartment. Doorknobs being rattled, things being moved around, and of course they are freaked out. But when they get up to check and turn on all the lights, nothing is there. The doors are locked, the windows are locked. But they decide to check everywhere, including underneath the kitchen sink, and what they see there is simply some mold around the pipe that goes into the wall, and it seems to be expanding up behind the sink up to the wall in the kitchen. They don't think anything of it. They'll call the landlord, get it taken care of in the morning. But nobody's in the house. It was an acoustical anomaly or something. They go back to bed. But the next day, holy hell. This mold, this rot has spread impossibly overnight to everything in their apartment. It's crawling up the walls, it's on their furniture, it's all across their floor when they get out of bed. It's just moldy and rotty and stinky. And the thing is though, they can't leave because this mold has also gotten in between the cracks of the doors and windows. It's almost like cement or steel. They cannot open the doors, they can't open the windows. It's crawled across the window, so even if they try to break it, it's reinforced. The window won't even break. They are trapped in the house with all this mold and rot and the spores in the air that they're breathing in. And their only hope is their next door neighbor, who comes over on the outside of their house and talks to them through the window, but he doesn't seem to be concerned. He doesn't seem to think anything's strange is going on, but he assures them he'll call somebody and get it taken care of, but he really doesn't. We're going to find out more about him as the story goes on. But he's kind of weird, he's kind of creepy, and they don't really like him, but they have to rely on him if they want to get out of this house. But as it becomes apparent they are not going to be able to get out, they are breathing in these spores, they begin to change because of this, and things are going to get slimy, things are going to get goopy, things are going to get delightfully disgusting, as I like to say. Until they find their way of escape. But even when they do, and this is the part of the book that really got me, because when I was reading it, I thought it was going to end one way, but it did not. This ending is weird. It came out of left field in the best possible way, and I was blown away by it. I was like, this is such a great book, much more than what I thought it was going to be. And I absolutely loved it. So pick up your copy of House of Rot by Danger Slater at the link in the description, along with the rest of the books we're going to talk about. And next we have Theta House by Jim X. Dodge. This is the shortest book on the list. I believe it's like 36 pages, but man, this author packs a lot into those 36 pages, let me tell you that. This is a story about a group of different people who get an email invitation to join an escape room type puzzle overnight at this fraternity house. And they are promised $1,000 just for showing up and participating. And as we're going to find out at the beginning, when this author introduces the various characters and how they received this email, all of them, the majority of them, need the money for something very important to them. Something, I mean, for them, $1,000 would be almost life-changing money. So they all decide to go there and play this game. You have a trans woman, you have a brother and sister set of twins, you have an emo kid who's always getting picked on at school, and then you have two rich, privileged frat boy type of guys. And these guys are cruel and vicious to the others because the others are different from them. They are insulting. They believe the others are beneath them. And so there's a lot of tension between the characters almost right off the bat because of these two frat boys. They thought they were just going there to join the fraternity because they didn't read the email the whole way. So they don't even know really what's going on. They think it's a test of some kind and that they are going to be the ultimate survivor so they can join this fraternity. But everybody's going to find out that there is a lot more at stake than just $1,000 because this is not a game. This is literally a matter of life and death. And as things start happening and bodies start piling up, they're going to find out that they're just going to have to find a way to survive if they ever want to leave Theta House. And some of the kills in here are very inventive, very creative. I love what the author did with some of these. And yeah, it's only 36 pages, but man, it's a fantastic read. It goes by quick, but you're fully engaged. The characters are fantastic. The story flows nicely. And I highly recommend that you pick up Theta House by Jim X. Dodge. And finally, we have Stirring the Sheets by Chad Lutzke. I've heard about Chad Lutzke before, but I've never read him, so I decided I had to undo that mistake of mine. And he's such a prolific writer. People are always talking about his books all the time, and I didn't know where to start because there are many to choose from. So I just picked one at random. I love that cover. I said, this is the one I would want to start with, and I think I made a good choice. Because this book is all about grief. And oh man, the way Chad writes about the grief and the grieving process from the perspective of this main character is so heart-wrenching that if you don't feel something when you're reading this book, well, you need to go on eBay and see if they're selling souls because you don't have one. But this is about a 70-year-old man who just a year previously lost his wife of like 50 years or something, and he has not been the same since. He is lonely. He hasn't touched any of her things in his house. He even sleeps on the couch so he doesn't mess up the bed because her imprint is on there from the last time she slept there over a year ago. He sprays her perfume around sometimes just so he can smell her. He's really in the deepest, darkest areas that grief can bring a person. And he works at a funeral home. He's been doing that for like 40 years. And one day a body comes in that resembles his wife, so much so that he actually starts talking to it and thinks that it's her. And he does something that's a little creepy, a little cryptic, but he does it out of this deep sadness he's ensconced in for the last year. And he's going to have to deal with the consequences of what he does because of that. But this is really a story about grief and about moving on and about how do you get over that when you've lost the only thing in your life that ever mattered to you. And gave me a big old case of the feels, and it's going to do the same to you. I can't wait to read more of Chad Lutzke's work because this was simply fantastic. I was just spellbound by this book. It was excellent, and of course, I highly recommend it. Alright, so that's 3 indie horror books that you need in your life. And you can find them all at the link in the description. Yes, I know I've said that a bunch of times, but there's a link down there, and you need to clicky, the linky, and pick up your copies of all 3 of these books. And as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time and spending it here with me. I really appreciate you guys watching. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.